So let's start with the question. What if your workplace was designed not just for you, but with you? It sounds like a small shift, right? But it has huge implications for how we all work. Today, we're going to dig into what it really means to design a workplace with your people.
Okay, take a second and actually picture your own office. Right now, does it make you feel focused, inspired, or is it kind of more like an obstacle course, full of distractions and little frustrations? The design of our workspace has this massive impact on how we feel and how we perform, but it's kind of crazy how often we have zero say in it. So, if you're feeling like your voice just isn't heard when it comes to your office, well, you are definitely not alone. Check this out. A recent Gensler Global Workplace survey found this absolutely startling number. Just 21%. That's it. Only 21% of employees felt like they were meaningfully included in their company's last workplace redesign. Let that sink in. That means almost 4 out of 5 of us are working in spaces that were just handed to us, designed for us, but not with us.
And this, right here, this is what we're talking about. The workplace disconnect. It's that huge gap between what a company thinks its people need and what they actually need to do their best work and, just thrive.
This quote really nails the human side of it, right? I mean, think about it. When changes just happen to you, it feels like you're powerless, like things are completely out of your control. But when it happens with you, it's a totally different story. It becomes a partnership, and you feel a sense of ownership, of empowerment. The difference that makes for morale is just night and day. Okay, but this isn't just about warm, fuzzy feelings. Not at all. This disconnect has real, measurable consequences. So let's talk about the actual cost of leaving people out of the conversation. When everything is decided from the top down, you run into some serious risks. First, you get these uninspired, cookie-cutter spaces that just drain your energy. Then, you might end up spending a ton of money on cool amenities that nobody actually uses because they don't solve a real problem for the team. And the big one? You end up with a workforce that feels totally disconnected, maybe even a little undervalued. So, what's the solution? How do we fix this? Well, it's a pretty fundamental shift in thinking, really. We have to move from designing for people to designing with them. And that's where this powerful idea of co-creation comes into play.
So what is co-creation? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a process where the design of a workplace is a real partnership between the company and its employees. It's all about making sure the final space actually reflects their voices and their real needs. It means taking those decisions out of some closed-door boardroom and putting them in the hands of the people who live in that space every single day.
And look, this isn't just some feel-good theory. It is absolutely backed by research. The data shows that when employees are included, a few things happen. They report having easier access to the spaces and tools they need. They have more choice in where and how they get their work done. And unsurprisingly, their satisfaction goes way up. All of that leads directly to stronger performance across the board. I mean, it's a total win-win. And here's a really interesting detail from that research. The folks who benefit the most from this are often administrative and technical staff. The teams who are interacting with the office infrastructure all day, every day. Their insights are pure gold, but they're so often the ones who get overlooked in those traditional top-down processes. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? How do you put co-creation into practice? Let's look at one really innovative way to do this. We'll call it the MuralPros method, and it's a great example of how to bring these ideas to life. When you put this method side by side with the old way of doing things, the difference is just stark. You're going from something that's top-down and painfully slow to something that's co-created and fast. You're ditching high-waste methods for something sustainable and eco-friendly, and instead of a space that's static and final, you get one that's flexible and can actually evolve as your company does. So how does it actually work? It's really elegant. First, you co-create the imagery. You literally invite teams to help pick or even design the art that goes on the walls. This gives them a real stake in their own environment. Second, you make the installation itself an event. With live printing, it becomes this interactive thing that gets people talking and builds excitement. And third, the whole process is designed for change. You can quickly refresh the murals as your culture grows and evolves. Oh, and there's another huge plus here. It's a much more sustainable choice. Because you're printing directly onto the walls, you skip all the adhesives, the vinyl, and the waste you get with traditional wall coverings. For any modern company, that's a really big deal. So when you bring all of this together, the co-creation, the engagement, the flexibility, what you get is so much more than just a pretty redesigned office. You get a workplace that actually, truly works.
Because at the end of the day, this is about culture, not just construction. It's all about creating an environment where people feel seen, where they feel heard, and where they feel connected. That's what empowers them to show up and do their absolute best work. So here's the bottom line. Design with your people. Print with your people. Build a workplace that actually works. The old era of top-down office design, it's over. The future is all about collaboration. The only real question left is, are you ready to stop designing for your people and start building with them?